I explained already once what my plan was for today's program, already on Saturday. I have all kinds of praise for the draft class. I have doubts about Sean Clifford, and I have doubts about Anders Carlson. They picked a kid who was delivering groceries to people's cars at Walmart to make ends meet during the COVID season to keep his football dream alive. Believe me,
story. Why do you not like that?
I would rather be talking about Grant DuBose than the fifth-year option. I am not ripping Gute. I'm trying to understand Gute. That's all I'm doing here. And I thought that the answer was going to be, I'll be honest, I didn't ask either of those questions. And I thought the answer to the, no doubt, I'm glad somebody did, because I wasn't going to, because I figured, of course they're picking up the fifth-year option. He's got this year and next year to show him if he's any good. And if midway through the 2024 season they decide that Jordan Love is good and they've seen enough and they extend him and pay him something that's less than what Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert get because he hasn't done it to their level yet, they're going to be pleased as punch because they're going to have their franchise quarterback at a lower than the market rate for other franchise quarterbacks because he sat for 3 years and they don't have enough evidence to show how good he is, and he can't ask for even more. So they get an extension done midway through 24, and everyone's happy. Maybe that's still what happens. But I don't know how you can be pissed at us for being surprised that his answer was what it was. I appreciate honesty.
Nefarious. I don't understand the nefarious
it's a good word.
Term. I don't know what. There's nothing nefarious about it. I am in the same camp. I'm confused. Other than you don't think he's any good, why you wouldn't? And yeah, does it all go away if he says, "Well, we're picking up the fifth-year option"? Why'd you have doubt in the first place on it? Other than I guess that's the part that it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I want to be explained. I want someone to option-splain me. Option-splain me why you wouldn't do it. And nobody has given me a good point. I'm all about analogy. Somebody just said, well, would you get married? And then after the first year, kind of, I don't know if I can go marriage with that. But that whole used car deal, leasing a car, none of that makes any sense. That analogy, nonsensical.
Also,
doesn't make any sense.
There's no real negotiation here because if the Packers are going to offer an extension, you're giving them and his agent hey, we want you to be the guy here. So you're not negotiating anything because it's a fifth-year deal.
Right. If you're negotiating an extension, you're telling him that we want you here beyond 2024 because you're not just signing him to a 2-year deal.
And the $20 million is baked into the cake.
Right. He's getting more than the $20 million.
There's no negotiation. Listen, I'm telling you, the Players Association did not want this a fifth-year option. They didn't. This was something the owners wanted because they could control cost for another year with a really good young player. And the fact that the Packers GM just said he thinks that's a lot of money when every other player is thinking if you're a stud or if you're really good, no, I want the guaranteed money. How many players are stoked when they get franchise tagged? Not many.
0.
Not only that, but how many guys don't want the fifth-year option? They want the extension first.
They
put the fifth-year option on TJ Watt was so pissed about the fifth-year option and that they didn't get the deal done that he reported to camp and then didn't do anything, did a hold-in until he got his extension.
The other thing, you always hear people say, well, we got to trade up to get that fifth-year option guy at the end of the first round so we can control his salary for another year. So for everybody, Christian, anybody else that wants to come at us with that, that's just foolish talk, okay? That is. Now, if you want to look at the other part of it, all fine. This part is all about cost certainty for management, and when you don't want that cost certainty, you should be allowed to ask questions about it.
Speaking of Christian Watson, the Packers tried to trade into number 32 a year ago with the Vikings so they would have the fifth-year option on him, too. And the Vikings said no, and then they had to settle for trading up to get him at 34. and he now will be only on a 4-year deal. So
I'm
if
sure
he
Christian
is,
Watson's going to be mad that if he continues on his trajectory, that they don't get to pay him less than market value that year. Hey, come
all
on.
right, the calls are stacking up. I'm sorry. Let's get to some of your calls. Let's go to Bob in Port Washington first. Bob, sorry to make you wait. What do you got?
Well, I was wondering, I don't know what an average top-notch quarterback coming out of college gets, but we drafted Love, 6'4", 220-something pounds, mobile. He's been in the Packer organization for 3 years, learning under their system, under Aaron Rodgers. I don't understand why Goody would say that. He must know what he has in 3 years. Granted, he doesn't have much game experience. He looked good in Philadelphia, but after 3 years of working with Rodgers, watching Rodgers, observing him, you would think he would know. So I don't understand his answer.
Again, I don't either, Bob. I would just say this. If they pick up the 5th-year option, great. I thought that was a no-brainer. I think they should. That has caused me to think about how they really feel as compared to what they've said about him. And had that answer not been what the answer was, I wouldn't be thinking that way. I honestly did not prepare for this to be a story, frankly. Between people I talked to in the league and my own presumptions, I thought he was getting the 5th-year option, and then if he played really well this season, 8-9 games in, they extend him. And it includes the money that they were going to pay him for next year because they're so excited about what he's shown early on. I don't know how you interpret this as anything other than even if they give him the 5th-year option, that there is some uncertainty, even from the guy who drafted him. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and from a Packer fan standpoint, you should hope that they do pick up the 5th-year option, because I know Packer fans are always concerned about the salary cap and the skyrocketing costs of quarterbacks and wide receivers. It is in the Packers' best interest for Jordan Love to be really good and to pick up his 5th-year option. And if it doesn't happen, the $20 million that you'd pay him next year, that's the price of doing business in this league.
800-990-3776, 800-990-3776. I want to get to more of your calls. This has been a lot. But I think you look at the voting on the poll, you look at the number of calls we have on hold, this is something that people are intrigued by. We have all week to talk about how great their draft was. So if you're in that group of people that they're mad that I'm not praising Lucas Van Ness or asking why his dad slapped his girlfriend on the ass in front of national television, we can get to that later. But this will be decided tomorrow by 3 o'clock, whether or not they're giving him the 5th-year option. And I didn't think it was going to be an issue. What is never an issue is me going to Fleet Farm, because you know how much I love going to Fleet Farm. I'm headed there today. I've got my Fleet Rewards credit card, which allows me to earn 4 points for every dollar I spend. I got a $25 gift card I get to use today.
That's the 5th-year option of gift cards.
Indeed it is. And you can catch great deals on fishing essentials, which is not my area. But if you love fishing, there's no better place than Fleet Farm, your fishing headquarters. You'll find top brands like Berkley, Rapala, and St. Croix to get ready to reel in your next big catch. Fleet Farm is your fishing headquarters, and while you're there, they also have everything you need to keep your four-legged friends happy and healthy, and Lord knows we got plenty of four-legged friends in this house. Shop their selection and score big savings on top brands in toys, treats, food, and more. And with Fleet Farm's price match guarantee, you'll always get the lowest price on pet food. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955. More of your calls are next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Clinical trials are essential to advancing medications, vaccines, and devices. LabCorp has been conducting clinical trials for over 40 years and has helped bring many of the medications we use today to market. You may be compensated up to $19,250 for time and participation in trials. At LabCorp, your safety is the #1 priority. Learn more about how you can help advance the future of medicine at LabCorpClinicalTrials.com. That's LabCorpClinicalTrials.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. Well, it's always a good time to get that special someone in your life a beautiful gift. And when I'm in need of a new piece of jewelry, Chalmers Jewelers is my go-to place. Whether I want a timeless classic or a one-of-a-kind piece, Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison has just what I'm looking for. My life has been made so much easier thanks to the great team over